So many of you probably figured this out, or maybe maybe I've told you or so. But my mother, she actually had me at a very late age. She was in her early 40s when she actually had me, and so growing up, a lot of people assumed she was my grandmother, and I actually thought it was a disadvantage until I realized how inexperienced most of my peers' parents were. And my mother had already experienced a lot of difficulties in life, so she had a lot of the answers already versus the other parents, they didn't. But one of the things that was one of the challenges that my mother and we talk about all the time is the fact that because my mother is older, there are certain family members that really disregard her, especially because her hearing is not the best. They just assume that, maybe she is ignorant, she doesn't know how to do things, and they won't even run past a lot of scheduling, a lot of plans, because they just assume, she's older, so they just dismiss her altogether. And my mother, although she sees this, she's always felt very loving towards the family. And I've always thought that was very interesting to her, the fact that, she was always willing to give and serve. There's certain times where, I'm getting some Chinese food. I'm getting some type of food from a place, and I say, "Oh, let me get some food from my mom." I'm sure she would be hungry. Let me stop by her place before I go home and eat. Let me give her some food, and she'll, I'll give her a whole plate of food. Sometimes it's Chinese food. That's one of her favorites. And then she'll turn around if she has guests, maybe some family visiting. She will share more than half of her food with them, even though this person she knows may have gossiped about her, or they disregard her, or they don't really treat her very respectfully. And there's times where I've argued with her in our own time. Why does she keep doing that? Because even I didn't approve of that sort of behavior. But she had to explain to me that she wanted to model Christ for them. She wanted to share this love and respect towards them, even if they're not behaving in that way. And it's something that it's always been very educational for me, because although I may understand a lot of doctrinal things, there are a lot of more experiential ideas and things to actually practice that I still have not learned, have not grasped, that my mother has already conquered. But she actually, recently, my friends, maybe a week or so ago, decided to have a friend's Thanksgiving. So I'm actually going to be doing that today. I'll probably post pictures later on of the gathering. But my mom actually helped me prepare a meal, or at least not a meal, but just the mashed potatoes that I was assigned to get. And I can make mashed potatoes, but I've been very busy, so I actually bought the potatoes for my mom to handle for me, to make the mashed potatoes and the gravy. So she's done that. I'm actually at her place now, but I bought some smoothies. I bought my mom a smaller one because she's not as big as I am. I have a large. But yeah, but I just to reward her and just remind her that I really value her and I love her. And I think it's sad that there are family members and even just people in general who disregard elderly people because they kind of assume elderly people are, not as useful or whatever else. And, for me, I've learned that any major thing in my life, I run it past my mom. She's become one of my best friends. And I'm so grateful that God gave me this mother in my life, because I realized that I've lived a very rich life because of her love and because of the way that she's extended herself towards her family and given to countless people. I mean, not only, she's allowed so many people to live with her over the years. Even when she didn't have to, she made room for them. Sometimes she'll sleep in the living room so they can have the room. My mother's that giving, even when, she's that type of person. And it's things that, she's done that I haven't approved of, but I realize now that it's about modeling Christ. And, Jesus, of course, I always remind you guys that Jesus did say when he came to the earth that the Son of Man didn't come to be served, but to serve. And a lot of her behavior is very close to that. So, yeah, but I love her. I value her. I think that she's an angel in disguise, to be honest. I absolutely love everything about this woman. And we get into it sometimes, but I realize that I could never have a better mother than the mother that I have, Jesse Jones. So kudos to you, Mom. And I know you'll probably see this eventually, but you probably have already drank this by the time you see this. But I just want to say I love you. I value you. And yeah, let's do it. All right. Bye. God bless you guys.